General David Petraeus came to Seattle and spoke on July 9, 2009, and he was asked by members of the audience if the Iraq War was really about oil. And his response was that the enemies of our country are expert at spreading conspiracy theories. He said that the proposition is outlandish anyway because the U.S. spends more in a year in fighting in Iraq than 20 years of output of the Iraq oil fields. Not true, but irrelevant anyway because capturing the revenue from the Iraq oil fields and capturing taxpayer money are two revenue streams of the same basic industry, which is the oil military-industrial complex.
We have a series of questions here related to, in essence, military goals. Talking about, you've mentioned the natural resources several times in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Are U.S. troops protecting these resources, or is the U.S. at war to exploit them? How do you respond to those kinds of questions?
This is actually a great question because we used to get it in Iraq all the time. I mean, you know, the enemy is pretty skillful at propagating conspiracy theories in particular, and frankly, these are parts of the world that are very given to believing conspiracy theories, and it's one of the cultural awareness topics that we actually share with our soldiers. And my response used to be, hey, look, we could have bought all the Iraqi oil for the next, I forget how many years it was that I figured out, it was at least 20 or 50 years. They actually, in fact, I could do the math pretty quickly. I mean, they export about 1.8, 1.9 million barrels a day. You can do the math. We could have bought all of that for about a year's worth of our operational expenses in Iraq. And that actually did convince Iraqis when you did the math for them. So this is certainly not about minerals. It's not about pipeline wars. It's not about trying to corner the market. And in fact, China is the one that got the contract, the first contract for oil in Iraq, in part because the Iraqi pricing scheme that they did was not all that advantageous to the countries. In fact, China and India are very active inside Afghanistan, again, trying to get some of the iron ore and some of the other minerals out of there.